Hello, today we are learning about the equation of a circle. So before we get started, let's think about what a circle is defined geometrically. So the circles we will be talking about today will all have a center that is the origin, or 0, 0. So a circle is just defined as a set of all points that are equidistant from the center. In this case, equidistant from the origin. So what makes a circle special is that every coordinate on its circumference is the same distance away from the origin, and that creates a circle. So you can see here that the equation of this circle is x squared plus y squared equals 16. You can see that the radius is 4 because it hits the points 4, 4, negative 4, negative 4. So the radius is 4. So you might already make a hypothesis about how this 4 is related to this 16. All right, so let's go ahead to the note. So our learning goal is we're going to find the equation of a circle with its center at the origin. And then if we're given the equation, we can find out the radius. And then we can find if other coordinates are on the circle, inside or outside the circle. Those are the three main things that you're going to be expected to learn today. So a circle is a set of all points that are the same distance from a fixed point, the origin. So we can label this origin, and it is 0, 0. Okay, so this distance is called the radius. We'll call it r. Now, where does the equation x squared plus y squared equals r squared come from? Well, let's pretend that we create a right angle triangle. So here we have our x distance, and here we have our y. So that gets us to the coordinate x, y that is actually on the circle. Well, notice that we've created a right angle triangle, and that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Okay, so that means that every point x, y will meet this requirement because the radius is always a right angle triangle. And the radius, this distance, is constant throughout the entire circle. So this just comes from Pythagorean theorem. For example, let's say we have the circle x squared plus y squared equals 9 squared. Or sorry, 9. X squared plus y squared equals 9. Remember that this is actually r squared. So r is actually 3. Okay, radius always has to be positive. So this means that this is a circle with radius of 3 and the center at the origin. Sorry, 0, 0. So you could draw what this circle would look like. So here's your axes, and you could draw a circle that goes, this would be 0, 3. This would be 3, 0. 0, negative 3. And negative 3, 0. And obviously try to make it into as much of a circle as you can. Sorry, this is very freehand. So every distance from here to the circumference is 3 long. So all the points on the circle will satisfy this equation. So just a few things to note. The radius is always positive. And to find the equation of a circle, either you need to know the radius, it's given to you, or you're given a point on the circle, and then you can find its distance to the origin, which is the radius. So you might need to use your distance formula. So let's take a look at this circle. This is the one I drew. So let's say a circle has the equation x squared plus y squared equals 16. It says describe the circle and name 2 points on the circle. Well, right away, let's remember that x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So therefore, in this case, r squared is equal to 16. And so r is equal to the square root of 16. So r is equal to, 4. So this circle has its center at the origin because it's in this form, it has to, and a radius of 4. Any point on the circle will be 4 units away from the origin. So the easiest ones to come up with are the ones right on the axes because we know they're all 4 away. So this, our x is 4 and our y is 0. Here our x is 0 and our y is 4. Here our x is negative 4 and our y is 0. And here our y is 0. Sorry, x is 0 and y is negative 4. Okay, so if we want to be really simple, we can just write those 4. But for those of you who are advanced, let's come up with something a little bit more fun. So this distance would be 4 and this distance would be 4. Okay, let's say that I had a coordinate that was the square root of 10. Okay, that was my x value. My y value would be the square root of 6. How am I coming up with this coordinate? Well, think about it. X squared is square root of 10 squared, so you get 10. And square root of 6, y squared, is 6. And then 10 plus 6 equals 16. So notice my x squared of 10 plus my y squared of 6 equals 16. So how about you guys try this one? What if I had an x coordinate of root 11? What would this be? Well, it would be root 5. Because again, root 11 squared is 11. Root 5 squared is 5. 11 plus 5, it's 16. So you can come up with any combination like that. So for instance, you could do root 4 and root 12. So root 4 is 2, so that's just 2 root 12. That would be another coordinate on the circle. So you could do that and play around with it. Okay, so now we have to answer if the point 4, 3 is inside, outside, or on the circle. Well, first of all, we can just visualize it. We can go over 4 up 3 and realize that that coordinate will be outside the circle. But how can we do that mathematically? Well, first of all, realize that if 4, 3 is on the circle, then this coordinate will satisfy the equation of x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Well, we can already see that 4 squared plus 3 squared, this is 16. 4 squared plus 3 squared is 16 plus 9, which is 25. So therefore, it can't be on. Then we notice that this is larger than this. So therefore, it must be outside the circle. Because the distance from the origin is greater than this. Okay, so another way of doing it, again, is figuring out the distance that 4, 3 is from the origin. So if you can find the distance between 4, 3 and the origin. So we can do 4 minus 0 squared plus 3 minus 0 squared, which gives us the square root of 16 plus 9, the square root of 25, which is just 5. So that means that this coordinate is 5 units away from the origin. So it is greater than 4, which is the radius. So it has to be outside. Okay, now in this question, they give us a coordinate on the circle and ask us to find the equation of the circle. So for the equation of a circle whose center is the origin, we only need its radius, which is the distance between the origin and the coordinate. So our radius then is the distance between 8, so 8 and the origin. So 8 minus 0 squared plus negative 6 minus 0 squared. So that's just square root of 64 plus 36, which is the square root of 100. So our radius is 10. So since our radius is 10, therefore r squared equals 100. So our equation is x squared plus y squared equals 100. Okay, notice I put 100 there and not 10 squared. Okay, don't write 10 squared. Okay, that's wrong. you want to actually write the number 100 and then interpret that the radius is 10 from that. Okay, so our radius is 10 units long, and that's the equation of our circle. Okay, name a point on the other end of the diameter. So if our circle has a radius of 10, okay, and it goes through 8, -6, then we can assume that it's -8, +6. That would be on the other end of the diameter. Okay, this one you can just do visually, because since we're going over 8 and down 6, we'd be going over 8 this way and up 6 to be the same distance away. Okay, to verify that it's on a circle, we just want to show that it satisfies our equation. And we do that by setting up left side and right side. So we just sub in our -8 and our 6. Make sure that your negative is in brackets and the squared is not. Okay, you're subbing in -8 for x, so you squeeze that, you hug it with the brackets to give +64. Okay, otherwise you wouldn't get this to work. Okay, finally is 5, 7 inside, outside, or on the circle. So let's just find if its distance from the origin is greater than 10 or less than 10. I'm just finding the distance between this point and the origin. So we get 25 plus 49. So it is root 74 from the origin, which is less than root 100. So it is less than 10 units from the origin. So therefore it's inside, since it is less than 10 units away from the origin. All right, so that's it, the equation of a circle. Exciting stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned lots.